In April of 1977, in the quiet town of Dover, Massachusetts, something crawled out of the dark. It was seen by 3 separate witnesses on 2 consecutive nights, by people who did not know each other. Each one described the same thing, and then it was gone. Dover, Massachusetts sits about 17 miles southwest of Boston. In 1977, it was a town of winding back roads, old stone walls, and dense patches of New England forest. A quiet place, the kind of town where nothing much happens. April 21st started like any other night. Bill Bartlett was 17 years old, driving with 2 friends along Farm Street just after 10 o'clock at night. His headlights swept across an old stone wall on the left side of the road, and that is when he saw it. A creature, crouched on top of the wall. He described it as roughly 4 feet tall, with a large oval head that seemed almost too big for its body, like a watermelon balanced on a thin neck. Its skin was pale, the color of raw flesh, with no hair. Its eyes were enormous, round, and glowing a vivid orange in the beam of the headlights. It had no visible nose, no visible mouth, just those eyes. Its fingers were long and spindly, curling around the rocks of the wall as if gripping them. Its body was thin, shockingly thin, like something built wrong, assembled from parts that didn't belong together. Bill stared at it for only a few seconds as the car moved past. He later said it was the most frightening thing he had ever seen, that he felt, for just a moment, that it was looking back at him with something like awareness. His friends did not see it. They had been looking the other way. Bill drove home and did the thing that most people would do. He said nothing. He told himself he had imagined it. 2 hours later, about a mile away, a 15-year-old named John Baxter was walking home from a friend's house. He was on Miller Hill Road when he noticed a small figure approaching him from the opposite direction. At first, he thought it was a neighbor, a short person walking oddly. He stopped and called out. The figure stopped too. They stood there in the dark, watching each other. Then the figure moved off the road, down into a shallow wooded gully, and John followed it. He wanted to see what it was. He found it standing at the base of a tree on the other side of the gully, pressed against the trunk. Its feet appeared to conform to the tree's shape, as if gripping the bark. Its fingers were wrapped around the wood, long and curling. Its head turned toward him, and John ran. He described the same creature. Oval head, huge eyes, pale, hairless skin. No features except those eyes. Spindly body, wrong proportions. Wrong in a way that was hard to put into words, but impossible to forget once you had seen it. The following night, April 22nd, a 15-year-old girl named Abby Brabham was riding in a car with an 18-year-old named Will Tainter. They were on Springdale Avenue just after midnight when Abby saw something illuminated in the headlights, a creature on all 4s beside the road. She said its eyes were glowing green. Will glanced over and saw it too. Neither one spoke until they had driven well past it. When they described it, it matched. The large round head, the thin pale body, the long fingers, the absence of any recognizable face. 3 witnesses, 2 nights, no prior contact between them. The case came to the attention of a young cryptozoologist named Lauren Coleman, who interviewed all 3 witnesses within days of the sightings. He found them credible, consistent, genuinely shaken. He named it the Dover Demon. It was a name that stuck. Attempts to explain the Dover Demon have circled the same handful of theories for nearly 50 years. Some researchers suggested a young moose or a foal wandered out of the dark and misidentified by frightened teenagers. But all 3 witnesses had grown up in rural Massachusetts. They knew what animals looked like. Others pointed to the description's resemblance to the so-called gray alien. The large head, the enormous eyes, the pale, thin body. But the famous gray alien image did not enter popular culture until several years later. Bill Bartlett had nothing to compare it to when he drew his sketch the morning after the sighting. What he drew was detailed, specific, unlike anything commonly known at the time. Some researchers have noted that the area carries a long history with the native Wampanoag people, who had their own oral traditions describing unusual beings seen near the same roads, the same stone walls, the same patches of forest. Whether those traditions and the 1977 sightings are connected is something no one can say. Bill Bartlett made a sketch the night after his sighting. He drew the creature on a piece of paper and wrote along the edge in pencil, "I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature. He has never changed his story." John Baxter has never changed his story. Abby Brabham has never changed her story. 3 people, 2 nights in April, something pale and wrong crouched along the stone walls of Dover, Massachusetts, gripping the rocks, with fingers that were too long, and then it was gone. No tracks, no photographs, no explanation that fully holds together. Just 3 witnesses and a name: the Dover Demon. If you want to go further into the dark corners of American folklore, Strange Atlas has more waiting for you. Subscribe, and we will take